Hi there. If you're watching this video, then you know you're probably in Broadcast Cable and New Media. That's CMET 4002 for spring 2016. This is actually the first completely online class that I'm doing for communication, media, and technology majors at La Roche College. I've done plenty of online classes for the core classes, and some hybrid for the majors, but I haven't done a completely online class yet. So this is the first one. So good luck to us. I hope everybody will participate a lot online. You'll take a lot of time each week to watch some videos and to read and to participate on discussion board and other kinds of essays and writing activities. And you'll be fully committed to this class as much as you are to a face-to-face class, including participating in the community discussion. That's where you really get a lot of interaction between students, and so it's just as important to do that in an online class as it is face-to-face. So welcome to the class. This will be one of the ways that I introduce a lot of the subjects. Will be with a video that you'll watch with a PDF of a class outline. So if you haven't done it yet, open up Class 1 PDF outline. I'll give you a minute. No, you could pause me and open up the Class 1 PDF outline. I'm going to go through it with you, maybe about 15 minutes, and then we'll be done. So take some time to get that open, and I'll be here when you come back. No, you probably already got it. All right, so we go to the first page. You've got the first title. Now you've got the listing of what we're going to do in here, the introduction. It's a CMT core class, the hybrid competencies, the syllabus, and the assignment. So let's get on to that. Third page, here we are. This is a CMET core class. It's not the hybrid. This is the complete online version. That's left over. I should have taken it out, but it's not there. But it is a CMT core class. That means every student in communication media technology takes this class. It's important for, as it says right there, the learning, awareness, your knowledge, understanding, industry growth, expansion, evolution, history, all these things that have been going on with the broadcast, the communication, the media industries. It's so important to know what happened in the past and to understand the processes of not just the technology, but the social, cultural, economic processes that happen. So that's why we have this class as almost your final class here, so we can discuss these things at a higher level than the intro classes, and you can really begin to understand these complicated processes of business, government, industry, society, all those things that are happening at the same time. And it does say on there, online work at least 3 hours a week. So you should be doing a substantial amount of reading, writing, discussion, other online activities. At least 3 hours. It's not so bad. You're getting 3 credits, and maybe it's probably your last semester, or maybe. So make sure you're taking that much time to get the work done on a substantial level on this class. Don't take it at all like, oh, it's online, I don't have to do it. Keep up to date. It's very important, keeping up every week and doing all the material. Let's just look at the next slide, or the next page, is competencies. Just to let you know, by the way, these are some of the things that people are talking about now in terms of what college students should be competent, have when they come out of college. So take a look at that list of writing, reading, vocabulary, discussion, leadership. Look at some of these important ideas: creative thinking, problem solving, collaborative work, finding, evaluating information, presenting information. I'll tell you, these things are really important to employers today. They don't want to just see, oh, you got A's or B's, and here's your transcript, you finished college, congratulations. What are you really competent at? So if you haven't really been working in these things, collaborative work, problem solving, creative thinking, we're going to get you working in these sooner or later, because these are the skills you need to have. It's not so much knowledge anymore, as you know. All information is free and available on the internet. Nobody has to memorize as much as they used to. But being able to work with other people, having creative skills, and having that kind of experience is what places are looking for. Let's look at the next slide. It really talks about competencies related to the communication fields. Technological understanding. Of course, we're not taking apart TV sets or building radios or computers, but you have to have some technological knowledge about what digital means, what's possible, what's not possible. If somebody asks you to go find a left-handed monkey wrench and you're gone all day, and you're a first-day plumber, you're not coming back if you don't know what a left-handed monkey wrench is. So same thing. If you express some lack of knowledge or some terrible ignorance in a meeting, in a discussion, in an interview about digital technologies, that might be it. They really don't want to have you around if you don't understand the basics of the technology that we're dealing with today. Online, streaming, gigabytes, megabytes. You've really got to have some of that information at this point in your career. Next line there: social role of broadcasting, cable, and new media. And you've heard this from me and from Corinne and through most of your classes by now, and you understand it has a really important role in society. Broadcasting, cable, and new media is expanding. There's a lot of things going on, and you could see all around you every single day that it has an important role in society. So we'll do a lot of study of that, along with the cultural significance and economic structure of these things as well. Again, economic structure, that might be the most important thing to you when you get out in the world and are working, because that's where they make their money, is understanding the economics of these things. And it's changing dramatically every day, as you know. So some of the other things, those are some of the things we'll study. History, development of forces affecting broadcasting, cable, and new media. Going to be very important. Pioneers and innovators in broadcasting and media. Again, understanding what people did, the decisions they made, how they were innovators at the time is going to be very significant to knowing and trying to figure out what's going to go on in the future. As I'm making videos, I might drink some tea while I'm here. Okay. Next mention is watershed moments. We'll study those in each of these areas. Watershed moment just means a really significant change when something important happened and made everything different after that. And certainly would say the beginning of radio. Think about it. Beginning of radio. Before radio, to hear anything, you had to be in the same room with somebody. There were so few recording devices, but to be able to hear something that was happening live across the ocean, across the street, or across the city or country was unique. So it was a brand new capability. Television, of course, expanding on that with being able to see as well. So it's almost impossible for us to imagine the world before those things, but you could just try to think about how those are important watershed moments. And what's next? What's the next watershed moment? With your phone in your pocket today, it's hard to imagine there's anything we can't do technologically. It's hard to imagine the world before these things as well. So, but there's certainly going to be things. For technological, social, and cultural breakthroughs, they're going to happen. They continue happening all the time. Go to the next slide. I think that's slide 6. 2 links for you to look at after you hear me talk for a while. There's a radio timeline, very interesting, from PBS website that tells you the timeline of radio's development, and another link on early radio history. I'd like you to look at both of those, study them, read a couple of links on them, go to the links and look at some of the detail on those. Try to understand something about how these things develop, and certainly get in your head something of the scenario of what century, what decade, different things happened for radio, because that's where we're going to start off. Obviously, we're starting off with radio. Okay, so any questions with that, let me know, but you should be able to take a look at those things. We'll have some discussion board assignments related to those. Let's go look at the next slide. Just to start with some basics. Slide 7. Funding for radio. How would it turn itself into a business? And this is a great question related to today, because they make apps of all kinds and they get them out there and they say, well, how are you going to make money on that app? And they go, we don't know. We just want to get 10 million users and then we'll figure it out. How are we going to make money from Twitter? They had no idea. Well, now they're starting to make money because they're using advertising. But are they going to charge for Twitter? Are they going to charge for Facebook? No, they can't charge for either one of them because people want them to be free. So it just says when technology starts, nobody really knows what the funding is going to be. But look at what I said here: indirect or direct funding. That's usually your two main choices. Indirect funding really basically means advertising, right? Advertisers are going to pay for it. They're going to expose you to the ads, the material, and the entertainment or information that's going to drag you there, drag you to watch that, and then they're going to get paid off. They're going to get paid when you come to the store and buy the product. By now, in communication, media, technology, you've seen enough and studied enough about advertising. You've heard my terms and discussion about indirect funding enough so that you should know it by heart now. And you know that it's still a viable method for funding, right? Advertising works. Advertising is effective, but there are other models. But radio was begun with, who knows what's going to happen, but it didn't take too long for them to figure out advertising was the best method for funding. Now, direct funding was an example of broadcast media that goes direct funding. You know, there's no radio bill to pay. You're not paying cable bills for your radio, but you might be paying for XM or Sirius satellite radio, and that's direct funding. So you're paying directly for the programming that you want, same as HBO, same as Showtime or any other pay cable that you get. But direct funding for radio, that was a pretty innovative thing maybe 20 years ago when Sirius and XM were two different companies. They both put up satellites. It cost $1 billion a piece for the satellites, one satellite, and then a backup satellite. And they didn't know for sure that it was going to be successful, but they got the content, right? The content that drove people to the to say, yeah, I'll become a subscriber. Local radio, I get my car and playing my CDs, and then even playing my MP3s in my car. Well, it's not enough. I want to hear 200, 300 stations, including some things they have that you can't get anywhere else. Live live news, live shows being done by famous rock stars or musicians, sports, all the things they have there led to direct funding being successful. So it's pretty amazing. Next line, public and private. There's two kinds of, certainly more than two, but public and private is two parts of radio that we still have. Most radio is privately owned or funded by, a stock company or related to a conglomerate of some kind. That's a publicly, public and publicly owned are two different things. Public means like public radio, nonprofit radio. Private business can either be privately held or can be have stock available for the public to buy, which means it's public. It's going public is the term they use today. So don't get those two confused. But public radio, as you know, on the left side of the dial, 90.3, 89.7, the ones on this left side, including college radio, are the public radio. And then private is almost everything else is owned by a business of some kind. So they do have different kinds of radio there going on. And at the bottom, last line, business, social and cultural goals. Obviously, radio today and radio for a long time has been a business, the objective of which is to make money, is to provide a return on investment for shareholders. That's in the codified in law, right? But it has had a big social and cultural impact on society, and we'll talk more about a lot of these later on, and we'll have some assignments for you to do on the discussion board and online on the website related to those things. But that's where we're going to start with radio, and here it goes. I'll finish up the last slide there. It says discussion board. There'll be some assignments, and I'll write those up for you later today, and you'll have pioneers and innovators in radio as well as watershed moments. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope this method is effective for you to be able to watch a short video and go along with the PowerPoint. Seems the best way to do it. I don't want to need to distribute slides, have you download long things. So I'm going to put this up on YouTube. It should be able for you to see it, and that's the simple way to do it. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.